pretending it's innocent. I watch it from behind glass, coffee untouched. Thinking about how many futures depend on whether I nod today or don't. Part of formation. I wasn't raised to dominate rooms, I was raised to understand them. To notice who talks first, who interrupts, who laughs too quickly when nothing was funny. Those men never last. My lessons came quietly from waiting, from watching deals fall apart because someone needed to feel important. I learned power doesn't need recognition, it needs patience and a good memory. Early bloodless lessons, I saw men carry guns like identities. As if violence could replace personality, they disappeared fast. We carried obligations that heavier, more permanent if ever old, last longer than a bullet fired. Everyone remembers who saved them, no one remembers who scared them. Fear fades, debt matures, part of the table. The table was long, food expensive, conversation harmless on purpose. We discussed schools, weather, a horse that never won. Meanwhile, borders shifted, rise, change hands. 3 families lost influence without spilling a drop. That's when I understood. The real decisions are made while everyone pretends nothing important is happening. Part of evil. They expected a speech, I gave them silence. Silence makes men talk to themselves. They reveal things they rehearse, never to say aloud. By the time I spoke, my words weren't instructions. They were confirmations of choices already made. Part B, reputation. People say my name carefully now, not from fear, from calculation. They wanna know if I remember them from 10 years ago. I do. I remember how they shook my hand. I remember which promises felt like it. I remember who watched my reaction. Instead of listening, those details age well. Part B laws, I buried men who love me and men who tested me. The ground doesn't care about the difference. Laws doesn't harden you, was deeper rise you. At the heart and there was aspirations that as well. Instead as a bus for lies. I remember men who love me and men who tested me. The ground doesn't care about the difference. Laws doesn't harden you, it terrifies you. After the funerals you stop asking why and start asking what survives. Part B, family diagram. Family isn't warmth, it's alignment. You don't get loyalty for free, you earn it with consistency. By being the same man in victory and inconvenience, anyone can be generous when it's easy. I watch who stays fair when it costs. For the enemies revisited, old enemies reach out eventually. Time makes cowards nostalgic. They talk about peace, about mistakes, about how things were different back then. They're right, I was listening back then. Now I'm deciding. Part I control without touch. I don't move pieces myself anymore. I move men who move pieces. That's the difference between involvement and ownership. I haven't raised no voice in years. Volume is for people who still need to be believed. Politics, private hours, late nights are honest. No witnesses, no roles to perform. That's when I consider how much of myself I traded for permanence. And morning comes impermanence. Answers for me closing scene when I'm gone. They won't argue about what I said, they'll argue about what I meant. That's legacy, not noise, not fear, just a quiet understanding. Let some handshake change everything. And some men never let go.
The city wakes up pretending it's innocent. I watch it from behind glass. Coffee and dust, thinking about how many futures depend on whether or not it don't. about affirmation. I wasn't raised to dominate rooms, I was raised to understand them. To notice who talks first, who interrupts, who laughs too quickly when nothing was funny. Those men never last, my lessons came quietly. From waiting, from watching this fall apart because someone needed to feel important. Island power doesn't need recognition, it needs patience and a good memory. Part of early bloodless lessons. ISO men carry guns like identities, as if violence could replace personalities. They disappeared fast, we carried obligation instead. Heavy, more permanent. I favor old lies longer than a bullet fired. Ever remembers who saved them, no one remembers who scared them. Fear of fate, they're mature. Part of the table's full. Expensive conversation, harmless on purpose. We discuss schools, weather, horrors that never won. Meanwhile, border shifting hands. Three families lost influence without spilling the draw. That's when I understood the real decisions I made, while everyone pretends that nothing important is happening. Part I was. They expected to speak, I gave them silence, and I go to this, so they were ready. It was when tell them to shake out the title rules. One more words, one instructions, and work on operations. Egyptians are beating with by position. People say my name carefully, then verbally from calculation. They wanna know if I remember them from 10 years ago. I do. I remember how they shook my hand. I remember which promises fell like. I remember it was not like our engine instead of listening to details age well. Body right, love, suburban men who love me and men that tested me. To the ground doesn't care about the difference. Lost doesn't harden you, it clarifies you. After in the funerals, you stop asking why I answered asking what survived. Part of our family died. Family isn't warmth, it's alignment. You don't get loyalty for free, you earn it with consistency by being the same man in victory and inconvenience. Anyone can be generous when it's easy. I watch you stay fair when it costs them. Part of our enemies revisited, old enemies reach out eventually. Timing's a coward, nostalgic, they talk about peace, about mistakes, about how things were different back then. Their eyes fullest than back then. Now I'm deciding how to control it, I'll touch, I don't move pieces myself anymore. I move men who move pieces. That's the difference between involvement and ownership. I haven't raised my voice in years. Volume me is to be believed. By the ex-private hours, late nights are honest. No witnesses, no roles to perform. That's when I consider how much of myself I traded for permanence. Then morning comes and permanence answers for me. Closing scene. When I'm gone, they won't argue about what I said. They'll argue about what I meant. It's legacy, not annoying. Not fear, just a quiet understanding. Let some handshake change everything in some man. Never let go, never let go.